This was one of the greatest animated sequences of all time, and you can't convince me otherwise. I know there are a lot of beautifully animated shows out there that are probably better animated than this. Heck, I don't even think this is the best animation One Piece has had in Wano. But everything from Luffy starting the drums of liberation again, to him not fearing his death at all, and going into Gear 5th again, the stunning animation and the gorgeous art style has made this scene, in my opinion, one of the greatest animated sequences of all time. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm back with my thoughts on episode 1072, the second Gear 5th episode, and possibly one of the best One Piece episodes of all time, as well as One Piece at its peak. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. I don't even know where to start with this episode, that's how good this was. But I do have one problem with this episode, so I guess we'll start with that. And my one and only problem with this episode is the 4-minute recap at the beginning of the episode. That's it. That's literally it. That's how freaking good this episode was. The episode starts right where the previous one ended, and it's pretty much just a visual spectacle for the next 20 minutes. Both the action and even the non-action scenes look stunning in this episode, thanks to the talented team of animators working on it, as well as it being partly storyboarded by the GOAT Megumi Ishitani herself, who, if you for some reason don't know who that is, she was the director and the person who storyboarded episode 982 and 1015, which are, in my opinion, by far the two best episodes of One Piece. And while this episode may not be on the same level, it's still borderline a perfect episode and possibly top 10 best episodes of One Piece so far. The voice acting by Mayumi Tanaka was perfect as usual, and the pacing for this episode was great. And considering that pacing is my biggest issue with the One Piece anime, I was just so damn happy with this episode. And surprisingly, some of the funny moments of this episode actually managed to be funny because they weren't trying to stretch the scenes out, which makes the jokes just not work in the anime. The moment where Luffy bursts through the roof after getting hit by Kaido's Ragnarok manages to be quite funny because just how straight they play up the desperation of the Straw Hats and the Samurais. The scene had stunning art which makes you think this was a serious moment, and when Nami declares that Luffy will be the next one coming through the roof, not Kaido, you actually take her seriously because we're pretty much in the climax of the arc, and you'd expect the scene was being used as a way for Oda to tell the audience that we're in the end game now. But Luffy bursts through the roof with his gigantic face and eyes popping out. This scene genuinely managed to make me laugh, which I didn't think was possible by the current One Piece anime. And it was just so funny to see Kid and Law's eyes popping out as well. It's just so goofy, and that's what makes it so damn good. The fight was great as well. Luffy hitting Kaido inside his stomach and making his hands come out through Kaido's eyes was fun to watch, and Luffy turning into a giant was such a great moment as well, especially considering the story relations it might have, considering the giant straw hat in the Holy Land. The sequence with Luffy turning back into Gear 5 was easily my favorite moment from the episode by far, and possibly one of my favorite Sakura scenes from any anime. Other scenes such as Luffy losing his energy and turning into an old man were a treat to watch as well, and Luffy punching Kaido literally through his head and sending him flying away was a highlight as well. It's just such a good episode, and the pacing was perfect. There thankfully were no flashbacks in this episode for more than 5 seconds and no reused animation. Everything was extremely fluent and was just so nice to watch. Probably the most fun I've had while watching a One Piece episode since 1015. Even though I liked the incredibly animated fight episodes such as Zoro vs King and Sanji vs Queen, even those episodes looked quite normal aside from the fight scenes, and the pacing was still very slow, leading me to enjoy them less than I would have. And seeing Luffy in Gear 5 just makes me so damn happy, and I can confidently say that episodes like these are the reason why I'm such a huge One Piece fan. The goofy moments, the cool fights, and just pure hype. This episode encompasses all the best parts about One Piece, and I can confidently say that this episode is One Piece at its peak. With all that being said though, that's pretty much all I have to say about this episode. So now I wanna hear about your thoughts on this episode and how you felt about it, especially if you're someone who's in anime only. I'm really interested to see what anime onlys thought about these past 2 episodes. Considering when all of this was first happening in the manga, the community was quite divided, but eventually majority agreed that these definitely were the highlight moments of the arc. Like and sub for more One Piece content and anime content in general, and hopefully see you guys in my next video, and peace.